Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today we're going to take a deep dive into the brand new Black Gold Pro Series sight. This has just come out, and normally I would start off something like this by doing an unboxing, but this was so new when I got it that it did not actually have a box. It came in a bag right from Black Gold, so I figured you didn't really need to see that. This sight has some very cool new technology on it that I've not seen on a regular hunting sight before, so we're going to go over all the things this sight can do in this video, and I guess we'll start off with this one's got a dovetail base on it. You can get a regular kind of hard direct mount sight if you want in this in the Pro Series. They sent me a dovetail base. They're calling it the Wing Trust dovetail, and it is really quite something to look at. It's unlike other dovetail mounts I've seen. We'll start here, for example. This one is the sight rod goes directly inside the mount of the dovetail. I've got another one here. I can show you what the one looks like on the Black Gold competition sight. It's kind of open on the front and it slides in like that. This one, I guess, just offers just an added layer of security and insuredness with the sight. If you've never used a dovetail and wondering why somebody would want it, that's something I figure we should talk about. This particular dovetail, I think it's a 4-inch setup. It's got 5 different spots you can lock this sight down on. And why I like to have a dovetail on my target sights, and it would make sense for hunting sights as well, is so you can get your peep to line up exactly how you would like around the housing, around the ring of the actual scope. And so if you're out a little bit farther, you're going to have a little more space. You could bring it in to have the ring kind of perfectly circle the inside of your peep, or however you want it to be. You got kind of 5 different areas to bring that in, 4 inches of play, and find the setup that works best for you. It's just there for added precision, basically, when you're hunting and looking for the perfect alignment on your sight. This sight has full first, second, and third axis adjustability. When I set up a sight, pretty much the first change I'll make is with this axis right here. So what you do is you just break these 2 screws. You don't have to loosen them a lot, just enough to have some movement. And then this screw will allow you to kind of turn it a little bit this way. And then you lock those screws down again, and you should be good to go. You can put this on a sight level, which I will do. I have a bright sight level, which I use for all my bows. And then once you've got that done, this assembly here, this kind of bright green, you can rotate that one in like a circular manner, just a little bit. You loosen these screws, and you've got just a little bit of play there. And just to get that all perfect, so once you get this and this set up, it's a very good starting point to get your third axis done. And the third axis adjustability on this one is, again, a pretty simple design. This is your third axis adjustment screw. You need to unlock it in a couple of different spots. Right there is one of the locking screws, and right on top. And so once you break those screws a little bit, then you can play with this one. You really only want to turn this about half a turn either way. That's all the movement it needs, and this will move the sight a little bit left to right. So the third axis will help you when you're shooting downhill and uphill, and make sure your sight is perfectly aligned. That's what a third axis leveler is for. And really, if you're shooting a lot of aggressive angles, especially if you're out of a tree stand, that's where you want your third axis adjustability. And this sight has it. But these things are pretty much available on all the Black Gold sights. What's really unique about this one are the micro adjustable pins. I've never had a hunting sight with micro adjustable pins. And Black Gold has kind of found a unique way to do that. So to adjust these pins, each pin has 2 different screws. So first you go into the deepest screw in there, and you just crack the screw, just break the screw, and then you take the outer ones and you do a turn and a half, 2 turns to loosen them a little bit. So you just do one at a time and make that, and then you adjust this little D label right there. You can move that up and down. That'll engage this to start working once you loosen those, and you can move each pin up a click at a time. I think it's 8 clicks per rotation. I think you get about an inch of movement after those 8 clicks at 20 yards to show you, to let you know how precise this is. So an eighth of an inch, basically at 20 yards, each click you make. And really, it will let you sometimes when you're sighting in a multi-pin sight like that, it's you loosen the one screw and you slide it up and down yourself, and then when you lock it in place, it moves a little bit. It gets hard to be precise. Having that micro adjustability is a really nice feature. I've not seen that again before. Somebody else may offer it. I do not know. I've not had a sight that had that before, so it's just a cool feature, and I'm looking forward to playing with it a lot. You can also loosen all of these at the same time and kind of move them in unison inside the housing. So if you want to, if you're, for whatever reason, if you've got, say you don't like how it feels, you want them centered slightly differently in the housing, just loosen all 6 and then move this up or down a little bit, and they will stay in unison at that 1/8 of a click at a time. And lock them down, you're ready to go. It's a really cool feature, and I think this is going to be a great way to just add a certain amount of more precision to a sight than I've been able to use on a multi-pin before. Another thing that's new for this year from Black Gold on the Pro Series sight is the tapered pins. So as you can see when you look inside, the pins start off very wide towards the base and get very narrow as they come out towards your field of view. And then they expand a little bit just around the fiber, so they're just larger than the fiber. So for me, that really just offers a slightly clearer sight picture. There's a little less clutter in there, at least in the line of sight where you're looking down. The pins are not so wide. So it's a new design from Black Gold this year that should offer, again, just a slightly cleaner picture in the sight. This is based on the Ascent series of sights from Black Gold. And with that, you get this full adjustability up and down with this big vertical adjustment knob over here as well. So for me, I got this sight in a 3-pin because of this. So I will set my pins up at 20, 30, and 40 yards. And then I will use my 40-yard pin as my floating pin. And so once I get, I'll have a sight tape built, which you'll put right here. And once you get your 40-yard mark on there, and then I could drop that bottom pin and use it to shoot out to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 yards if you want to, as far as you feel comfortable going. When you're practicing or doing whatever you like, and that's what that offers. It's again, I like an adjustable sight. I don't love the idea of a single pin adjustable hunting sight, because I would like to have that 20, 30, and 40 pins there just as a backup, just in case an animal's moving and is not settled in one spot for a long time. I don't have to worry about kind of moving my sight down to the right spot and then going out and shooting. Now I could just have those pins set up as a backup. But then I have that bottom pin for a floating one. So, if I'm going to shoot a little farther in the hunt, or I tend to practice a lot farther out, 60, 70, 80 yards out just for fun. I like to, I figure practice long range, and then the short range hunting shots feel a little bit easier. That's my theory at least, but that allows you to do that. Windage adjustment on this sight is right through this dial here. Has a little L mark on it. And you loosen a set screw in there, and then you can turn your bow, move this windage as much as you need to. It's got a couple inches of movement there, just because different bows are kind of set up a little bit differently. So it'll allow you to move the whole sight housing out a little bit. And if you need more windage than that, then if you can unhook the dovetail from here, and it's got 4 holes there for windage as well. So this one's on the right now. I can move it over to the left and get another 1/2 inch of adjustability if you really need it. And finally, you could also move beyond moving the whole front end with this main dial. And I will say, just to point out, the main dial is very stiff. It is stiff by design. The idea from Black Gold is that you can still shoot this even without using the lockdown mechanism. I mean, you still want to use the lockdown where you can, but if you're in a hurry, you use that bottom pin down. Oh, I want to shoot at 55 yards. I'll move that to 55 yards. And you can shoot without worrying about the sight moving on you, which is a great feature. So I don't know how much you really need that lockdown. I've not had a Black Gold hunting sight like this before that was movable, so I can't say for sure. But I would feel pretty confident shooting this thing without locking it down, just because it is so stiff to move. I think it'd be a little easier, in fact, with gloved hands, because it's so stiff. You really have to get a good grip on it. And beyond moving the whole front end, you could also just move the scope itself vertically. So this thing has probably 6 or 7 inches of vertical adjustability. So you can move the whole front end, as I mentioned, with this big dial here, and then you can move this part of the front end along the kind of the windage block with this button marked up. So the individual micro adjust pins are with this D button, the down button. The up dial marked up will move just the scope assembly itself up and down. So there is a ton of adjustability in this sight, and I'm worried I've added a little more confusion to the mix by showing exactly what it can do right in one spot. You're going to get a better idea once you get your hands on it yourself and start making changes. But it should be a great sight for hunting. And the beauty of buying a Black Gold sight is there is an unconditional warranty for the original owner. So if you buy the sight and you drop your bow and you break your sight or something like that, you just send it to Black Gold and they will repair or replace it free of charge for the original owner, as long as you own the sight. I love a warranty system like that. And there's a couple of other sight manufacturers who have great warranties as well. Fortunately, I've never had to use the site warranty. I have a black gold competition site, which I've had for, I don't know, a year and a half, almost 2 years now, which has been great for me. Nothing's happened to it. I'm hoping to have it for many years to come, and I would think I'll have this site for many years to come as well. Again, these are built like tanks. I will say they lightened it down this year with the dovetail. This is, I talked to my rep at Black Gold, and he was telling me that their aluminum bars here are as light as the carbon dovetail bars that the other manufacturers are offered. You can see it's hollow in there. It's a really cool bit of machining, if you ask me. It looks really nice. I would imagine that'd be an expensive machining process to hollow it out like that. But it looks great, and it's super lightweight. You can also get this on that direct mount I mentioned earlier if you'd like. I believe the site starts at about $360 for the base model, and you can go up from there depending how many pins you want, depending if you want the dovetail or the direct mount. The prices go up, to start at $360 up to more than $500 if you like, depending what you want to put in on there. And the site, I think, comes with more than 50 site tapes to mark on there. And the site tapes are also, I should point this out, I'm adding more info for you. They angle the site tape out a little bit so you can see it straight on. You don't have to bend your bow to mark it down like I do with a lot of my target sites. This is just, I love the angle on there, so it makes for an easy view. And the pin doesn't get in the way, so it's easy to, a lot of the other target sites I have, when I put on a new site tape, I have to take off the pin entirely because I can't slide it underneath there. This one's got a little bit of space, just little things like that. They show you can tell the people that are designing these sites are the ones that they shoot these sites, they use these sites, and they know what works and what doesn't. So I really do appreciate little touches like that. And again, I can't wait to try it out on a bow. And if you want to learn more for yourself, head over to blackgoldsites.com.